You haven't started, so go ahead and start, and we'll.
I hate it when you guys do that.
Okay, but no, they didn't hear all that voice. Okay, good, thank you. Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna call it to order for the presentation only. We're not gonna do we're gonna do roll call just to show who's here. Okay. Okay, works for me. All right, so we're gonna call this meeting to order. Shelley, can we have roll call, please?
Yes. Madam Clerk, thank you. Chairman Tracy Quick,
Here?
Vice Chair Mary Lowry,
Here.
Commissioner Dylan Maltese is absent. Commissioner Justin Acevedo,
Here.
Commissioner Cecil Hernandez is absent. Commissioner Art Warren is excused. Commissioner Debbie Cox is excused. Madam Chair, we do not stand.
Okay, so my understanding is if we don't have a quorum, we're gonna let Dana do the presentation, and we're going to reconvene at another time with the quorum and take a vote. So Dana, would you like to move on with your presentation, please?
I would, and Art did write back quickly, just to let you know, and he said, get there in 15. I said, just call me. So I will go ahead with my presentation and put him on speaker should he join, and
Can we
will that work?
Can we add Art after the fact?
We will make it.
So to say we have quorum?
So I'll go ahead with that presentation and share my screen. I really apologize, everybody. I kind of worked hard for this one to get everybody together, and I apologize it didn't work out yet. So quickly, this is the U-Haul development proposed for this parcel located right here along US 60. The property is zoned C3 and is a part of a larger U-Haul facility that is in existence currently, right here to the north and operating. Back, you'll see in your staff report that in 2021, U-Haul came in for a conditional use permit for outdoor storage of vehicles, as well as an outdoor storage single level unit configuration on this parcel. And you all also see in the staff report that's explained to Art's here. Art, hi Art, Dana. Thank you so much, and I really apologize.
No problem.
So you're here on speaker. Can everybody hear Art?
Yeah, we can hear him.
Yes, and for the record, we will add Commissioner Warren to the roll call.
So we have the quorum.
We do have a quorum.
All right.
And I'm just wrapping up my presentation. So as I mentioned, we'll jump. This is the location. There was a prior approval of outdoor mini storage facility that would now be null and void for this portion of this parcel. And that's just simply, it's part of the stipulations or conditions within the site plan approval. And that would have, should this be approved, effectuate that condition, and that prior approval would no longer apply to this portion of the site. With that, there you see the building configuration. You see our fire access on either side. It is a 3-story building. I will show you elevations. The city's had extensive review on this project. And the applicant is in the audience or available via Zoom here to respond to any questions you may have. But fire is also available and has had extensive review and discussion with the applicants to ensure that we're meeting all our minimum fire requirements and some actually for access to the parcel. With that, staff is recommending approval of this 3-story site plan for a U-Haul indoor storage facility as discussed in the staff report and the exhibits.
Hey, Dana?
The conditions listed,
So-
yes.
Dana, Dylan just walked in, so we have a quorum this way, so Art, if you want to drop off, you're welcome to. So we do have a quorum now.
Sure. If you have a quorum there, I will drop off.
Thank you so much, Art.
All right, thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it. Enjoy. You too. Bye. Thank you very much.
So Madam Chair, just let the record know that.
I am present.
Very good. So that said, like I mentioned, the applicant is is available here on Zoom to respond to any questions you may have. Dylan, welcome. If you have any questions on the U-Haul facility, I'd be happy to respond, or Madam Chair.
We basically just started, so you really haven't missed that much.
All right, and I read a little bit about it at beforehand. So again, apologize for being late. Got here as quickly as I could, so forgive me for that. But okay, I'm just reading through the packet here.
We skipped the.
While you do that, I'll go ahead and kind of take you through
Okay.
through the site plan. You see access on both sides. One thing you see in your packet is my red lines. Some are just general questions and comments to remind myself what to look for at the time of building permit, and to remind the applicant of certain requirements that we have that aren't necessary at this stage, but are at the time of building permit. But outside of that, all the site plan related items are identified on this document in red as well. Two points of I need to address in speaking with the applicant since the staff report was issued. You see this comment or this notation down here regarding trash bin. They have decided to not have an interior trash bin and have that located in the exterior in between the existing facility and the proposed facility. So that trash bin, I will add an additional condition of approval for your consideration this evening to my staff report, and these are the conditions of approval. That item number 8, screen trash enclosure to be located on the adjacent parcel and used in common with the existing facility. Design and location shall be approved by the zoning administrator. We quickly looked at some options to have that located in this area generally. And again, it would be outside of our front setback, our 20-foot minimum front setback, and screened as our code requires, and it would meet our minimum standards for locating that. Right now, there's a trash enclosure just sitting out on our trash receptacle sitting in front of the existing building without being in an enclosure. So I see that as a good win for getting our enclosures, bringing the enclosures that serve this, or the trash bins that serve these properties in compliance with our zoning code to have it within a screened enclosure. And that's when and then secondly, there's also a note on a section in the building or in the civil sheets for a cross section AA that shows this common property line here to be removed, and that's not the intent. They're going to leave that common property line there. They meet all minimum required setbacks, so that certainly can exist. The difference is, as it's two parcels, we want to make sure we have, and we've stipulated here in your staff report as well as on these red lines, that cross-access easements, cross-drainage easement, any of that mutually necessary use across property boundaries is established through easements. And what that does is, should one day in a distant future one of these parcels sells, we know we have cross-access and legal use as it's designed. That's the only reason. It's more precautionary. So with that, again, staff is recommending approval as noted with the exhibits and redlined, and as with the addition of items 8 and 9 you see here on the screen. Oh, sorry, items 8 and 9 that you see here on the screen. With that, I'd be happy to respond to any questions you may have. And again, the applicant is here. If they would like to make a statement, they're welcome. Very good.
Dana, I have a question. And this might not be the commission's business, so just let me know. If this was already approved for a CUP back in 2021, is this a different business owner now that's making these constructive modifications, or what's the change?
It's not same property owner. They just decided to go with this 3-story indoor facility in lieu
Okay.
of the single level, they had a similar concept to Easy Dock and Lock that you reviewed a few weeks back, that single level corrugated metal setup that they decided not to develop. And I think, yeah, so it's a much smaller footprint, probably with the same capacity for storage, just going vertical. So that should, I think, take us to be more sustainable in some ways.
Okay, thank you.
And we have zero feedback from any of the neighbors around it? Nobody's complaining?
Correct. There are no neighbors, and this is a site plan approval, so there is not a notification requirement, but they don't have any neighbors.
Everyone's far enough.
See BHP across the street, BHP behind them, and BHP right next door. There is a requirement. They are proposing a bit of grading. It looks like there's already been some grading on BHP's land, so they'll just provide permission, and that's stipulated in their agreement. Outside of that, yeah, we can keep backing up. Really, no use. And also to note, they have been in consultation with ADOT on the required improvements for access to the site. There currently is, I think, 5 access points along this frontage, which they are deleting through this process. So we're actually reducing the number of curb cuts onto our highway at this on the inside of this curve, which is a much more safe design.
Yeah, that's great.
And that's going to be along what we call the commercial corridor of town. So, despite building of its nature, I don't expect there's going to be many people that are complaining about the view or obstruction that it takes up. It's obviously zoned for building of that magnitude in nature.
Correct. Actually, the C3 zoning district allows 100-foot building height. So this is proposed at 36 or 40, right in that ballpark.
If we're just doing some comments here, I just want to comment that, you know, this is the first time I've read the phrase, artistic use of material creates an extruded, lyrical, articulated design element. And I'm like, I'll have to ask Justin about that. But I really do appreciate the client considering how this is going to look and the beautification of Globe, right? Not just the functionality of this for the residents, but also making sure that it looks nice. And it's, I really appreciate that. So thank you.
I can tell you, I've actually worked on one of these buildings in the past for another city, and they use that exact term on every time they submit this building. And it's just that little fluted pattern that goes down the side there with a couple different colors. I think there's the 6 little stripes next to the windows.
So there really should be like a little TM. It's trademarked. Right?
It's trademarked at this point. Yeah.
But I make a joke about it, but really, like, this, we want to grow Globe, right? We want to encourage business and encourage growth and people coming to town, and we can do that and also beautify the town too, right? So I think that even though this is a very, commercial style building, I really appreciate the approach that they're taking. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mary. I think the side of this building, I've seen much sadder looking storage unit buildings. This one actually has some coloration change, material changes. It makes it not feel so much like just a giant monolithic block with no windows. So I always appreciate the fact that these actually have windows in them, makes the space look more usable. And if it does ever not become a storage unit facility, it gives it some ability for some flexibility in the future, which I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me more of an office or even a hotel other than a storage facility, so the aesthetic is definitely there for it.
I will note that these windows will, I suspect, and Justin may know better, you'll probably see those storage unit doors inside, as you've seen in some of their other configurations, but aside from that, and it would probably be mostly at night, you would see that, but outside of that, yes, it's a very attractive elevation.
And if I remember correctly, it's a false interior inside those windows. It's actually a store shop display. So it looks like storage unit doors, but it's actually not. If it's like most others.
It makes sense.
So apart from that comment, I have no other questions. Chairman Quick, just letting you know, since you can't read my face next to you.
Right? Justin, you have any other comments?
Dana, I have one comment, and this will be as you go in for final permit review, because there's a planting plan for once. I got excited. There's a Foothills Palo Verde there. This is like the very upper echelon of where Foothill Palo Verdes survive and thrive. As we know, we don't have a ton of them in town, probably for a reason. It might just be worth just a quick conversation. Just maybe that might be an alternative tree. It might be an alternative tree choice there.
Excellent, duly noted. I'll have that conversation with the applicant.
Yeah, but other than that, this looks great. I'm glad that they're also including some street frontage there, softening it up a little bit, because it is quite a large boxy building, so having some landscape in front of it will soften it quite a bit.
Correct, and then there was a variance approved because of maneuvering and additional cut, as you saw in the staff report, that we did allow the encroachment with the paving, Board of Adjustment approved variance to allow encroachment of that pavement area, and in consideration of that, they also approved additional landscaping along the frontage road here, sidewalk to the existing wall. Low wall that you see that will be raised ultimately.
Yeah, which is great.
So I just want to make that point. So the area in between the wall and the back of sidewalk here will also be landscaped all the way over to the other entrance on the north parcel. All right.
Dylan, do you have anything else to say?
Not too important, but the proposed signage, is that just to house the stock logo of U-Haul? Because I don't see, details of exactly what the design is supposed to be on that.
They will submit, recently, I believe they did improvements on the existing building with utilizing the current, or their current sign standard, so that would go here as well. We have to review the signage when it comes in for our sign code criteria. We have a pretty generous highway sign allowance, but we'll make sure that those areas proposed will comply with the ordinance sign code.
If you look at the old buildings, they have put some new signage on it. It looks nice, but it is just your standard U-Haul logo.
Okay.
But it's nice and clean.
Okay.
Probably what we're going to be seeing on this as well, I would imagine.
All right, sure. And then, of course, also the more zoning aspect of it specific to the signage, but as we've dealt with before. But yeah, usually pretty generous on that. So that was my only other question.
I actually joked that the only thing that we've done as a commission so far is approve signs that I've seen. I've not seen anything else. Okay, if no one else has any more questions, do I have a motion?
Shall we invite the applicant to speak if they wish?
If the applicant wants to say something?
Yes, Ramsey, are you available to maybe address that sign question?
Actually, Ramsey was not able to make it.
Hi, Alexis.
Yeah, hi, Dana. Thank you so much for the presentation, and we really appreciate all the time that you've spent on this. And thank you to everyone for being here tonight. I do not know about the signs, but I'm happy to check with the client and get back to you on that and let you know.
Very good, thank you. With that, if there's no more comments, do I have a motion?
I think as a technicality, perhaps we should motion for public hearing.
No public hearing tonight.
Hearing on this one?
It's a site plan only.
Okay, correct, yeah, alrighty. Well, I motion to vote for the, consideration of, case SP-23-03 along with the, conditions by staff as followed on the page.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. There's no further comment. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Nay? The ayes have it. Motion approved. Do we have any future business to discuss? Dana?
We do. I want to make sure everybody's available on April 3rd. I'll send out a confirmation request. But April 3rd, we do have an amendment to a planned area development approval that was granted by City Council back in around 2015, 2016 for a development on the northeast area of the globe. We will be holding a neighborhood meeting. So far, it looks like it'll be on the 20th. It should be available via Zoom or just YouTube. If any commissioners are interested, let me know, or Shelley. We want to ensure that we don't have a quorum. Sorry. That we would need to advertise for that meeting, or if we do, we need to be aware and advertise that. But anyway, that's a citizen review meeting. It's part of the process requirements. And a statutory requirement prior to any zoning public hearing considerations. But yeah, that's something you have coming down the line. So let me know at your earliest convenience if you're not available on April 3rd. Outside of that, we also have 2 conditional use permits that I just received. We've got a few questions on, but those will be coming forward as well in the coming month. Possibly before the 3rd, maybe the 27th, depending on a meeting that we have tomorrow with staff on the status of those reviews. Busy spring. And that's all
Dana,
I
I
have.
apologize. My audio cut out when you first started talking. Before you talked about the 2 couple of conditional use permits, you said there was some other thing that's routine. What was that again?
Not very routine. It's an amendment to a planned area development project that was approved in the northeast area of Globe. And the prospective buyer has some amendments, some changes that they'd like to make. Relative to a recent site plan approval that you had granted. And I probably shouldn't get into too much detail here without it being agendized.
Understood. So then the ask that I would have is, and we always, the support team always does a great job of getting the materials out. If there's any way that we could have that information in advance, maybe not just a couple of days in advance, but if we know it's coming on April 3rd, if there's a way we could get it a week out, right, so that I can read it over the weekend, just so that especially when we know that it's a public hearing, we want to make sure that we as commissioners are prepared as possible to answer the good questions that people have.
Absolutely, and hopefully we're always getting them to you before the weekend, but definitely we'll shoot for the Wednesday, exactly a week prior at the latest. And then
Perfect,
one thing
thank
you
you.
probably missed, there's a required citizen review meeting that occurs, and we're targeting March 20th right now. I will let you know when that is. If you're interested to attend, let us know, because we want to make sure we don't have to post a quorum, or we're aware of we don't run into a quorum issue with the commission. But that will be also a great spot to hear a presentation from the developer on the details of that proposal, as well as staff will be there too to respond to any questions. So that could be a good element. I'll work with Paul and his team, Shelley and Danny, to see if we're going to put that on YouTube, and that could be a good place also to get some earlier information and ask any questions of staff that you'd like.
Yeah, thank you, Dana.
Will that meeting be held here, or is it strictly Zoom?
We're looking at the council chambers.
Yeah, because I would be interested.
All right, I'll follow up with you all on the details there and the confirmation of your availability.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right, then there's other business, new business?
Back up and approve the minutes that are on the agenda.
If you want to go ahead and do that, since we're there? Very good. Did everyone have a chance to look at the meeting minutes? I saw one minor flaw, and that's on the first one, December 6th, where it says who's present. It's got two chairmans. And so that, to me, other than that, I didn't have any problems with it, with the December 6th minutes. You look who's present, Chairman Debbie Cox and then Chair Tracy Quick. Yeah, I mean, that's a typo. I mean, there's no big deal. Other than that, sure, no problem. Anybody got any questions or comments? We gotta do these one at a time?
No,
Okay, December
so,
6th.
oh, I'm sorry about that.
Comments?
So at the end, when it says adjournment, the last name for Lowry is Lowry. I don't really care, but I don't know how specific this stuff has to be. So it's just a little reversal of the letters in my last name. Otherwise, I have no corrections, and I'm happy to make the motion, but I don't want to cut Justin or anybody else off of, if they want to make comments.
Any other questions or concerns on December 6th minutes?
No additional comments.
No
All right.
comments, no questions.
Cool. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the December 6th minutes as is, or with the two modifications noted, sorry.
I second that motion.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. December 6th approved. Now let's move on to December 20th. I have no comments there.
The same comment on Lowry. It's just a reversal of the letters, that's all.
Any other comments, Justin, Dylan?
I was absent that one, so, because I was not present, I figured I could abstain from, the vote.
Madam Chair,
Yes, yeah, Dana?
So,
if, Dylan, absent or not, if you certainly can abstain, we will be able to take action on those minutes, because we won't have a quorum.
All right, I think Dylan's willing to vote on it, if that's all right with everybody. So any reason why he can't? Yeah, because that was a very simple meeting. It was pretty cut and dry. There was nobody against it. It looked like a nice way to fill a kind of ugly piece of land.
there's no conflict of interest by you voting to approve minutes of meeting with you and not attending.
Okay, understood. It was just kind of a suggestion out of good faith, if you will, since I was not present for that one, but I do have faith in the commission to have made same decision I would have made, so.
There you go. All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the December 20th, 2023 meeting minutes.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. December 20th minutes approved. And with that, I believe we're done. Very good. Let's call the meeting to a close.
I motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:41 p.m.
There you go. Second.
Seconded.
All those approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No nays. The ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you all. Thank you.
We managed to pull that off.